talking these days on how to grow leaders. In the process of growing leaders, my friend, it's important to train, to have the training for the leadership. Training for leadership, while we do it, there are some common errors I have witnessed in many organizations. My friend, there is nobody, it's my personal conviction that there is nobody who cannot vastly improve his powers of leadership by little thought and practice. To act is easy, to think hard. This simple English proverb is signpost the most common error organizations or institutes, various institutions act for external or internal political reasons. My friend, before sitting down to think first, I have noticed that the managers are often pragmatic, very pragmatic doers by nature, and any suggestions to a delay in order to think, this max of a kind of a disease, generally referred as the Danish disease, renamed by another author, the Hamlet, the Prince of Denmark. My friend, these diseases are simply called the lack of thinking and just getting on to the act and working. Thinking is working. Thinking works. I hope that your institution or the organization wherever you are working, though they don't fall into the category where the working commences without thinking or without giving the appropriate or reasonable amount of thinking. Remember, my friend, that to grow leaders and leadership, it does demand clear thinking. But I trust too that clear thinking about leadership is also not a very hard work at all. It is just giving an appropriate, cool-minded, collected mind time. Organizations that rush or slide into leadership activities without giving the necessary hard thinking or the requisite thinking, they all have exhibited certain symptoms. Like, they will never have the clear concept of what leadership is and how it relates to engagement or to management. There is no understanding of the different levels of leadership and their different training or educational requirements, commitments, and sometimes even interest is lacking at the very top level. My friend, ignorance about the history of thinking about leadership and the history of leadership training prevalent programs, it often reflects that thinking is missing in the most of the institutions before carrying out any task or work. What is looked for generally everywhere is a quick fix, and that means instant leadership. And when it isn't forthcoming, such organizations move on to the next panacea. They do not achieve the optimum. They never achieve the synergy. Organizations that want to avoid the most common error, however, faced with a problem. The object of thinking is the truth, but to think out the truth about leadership or leadership development form, as we say, the first principle would take forever. The great Einstein once said, "I think and think for months, for years." And 99 times the conclusion is wrong. The 100th time I am right. Still, as a result, now you and I don't have to puzzle about this special theory of relativity or for themselves. Nor do designers of aircraft have to work out for themselves the laws of aerodynamics. There is a clear path of thought of leadership, but an organization cannot just take it from the expert. It needs to retrace the path and make it its own. Hence, training is important. My friend, what happens in the organizations who don't think, they don't ask the right questions and weigh the possibility solutions or the course of actions. Thinking begins. If any organization doesn't think for itself, then it becomes especially vulnerable to people who offer to do its thinking and for it at a price. Remember, if a blind man leads to a blind, I'm sure both will fall into a pit. It is not easy for any organization to think for itself about leadership and leadership development. The kind of the requisite mindset, it's not easy, but by no means it is impossible. We must not forget, my friend, while growing leaders, training is important, and training is important because it changes people for better. We must obey the greatest law of change. It is the most powerful law of nature, my friend. We shall talk about the next common error tomorrow. Thank you very much.